Hey everyone, my name is Dave Pluff, and I wanted to welcome you to our class, Art History C1200, which is a new number for this class. If you've seen Art History 5, this is Art History 5, but we just have a new curriculum number that has just begun. Regardless, this is a survey of Western art from the Renaissance all the way up to the modern age. So we're going to begin right around the year 1300 and talk about the Italian Renaissance, the Northern European Renaissance. We're going to look at French art such as Romanticism and Rococo. And then in the second half of the class, we get to talk about the modernists. We get to talk about Picasso and Pollock and Monet and Manet. We just have a really great time in this course because we get both that traditional art and we also get the avant-garde, the modern art, the revolutionary art. And so we cover roughly 1300 to about 1950 as far as the timeline is concerned. It is an accelerated class, 8 weeks. We do not meet in person at any time during those 8 weeks. We have an asynchronous class. So I open up one module every week. You complete the module, and then we move on to the next week. So it goes by really, really quickly. I do one of these videos every single week to walk you through the material in the module, show you where to and where not to spend time. So these videos are very, very important as far as helping you through the course material. So with that, let's head over to the Canvas site. I'm going to walk you through our very first module. All right, here we are on the Canvas site. When you first log in, you'll land on the dashboard. Our class is this one here. It's got a Pollock painting as the icon. You just click into that. That brings you to the home or syllabus page. And once class has started, any past emails that I send out will be up above the banner here. Underneath the banner, this is an area where you can find projects that are due. So this is just a shortcut. Again, this is either the syllabus page, or if you click on the home page, it still redirects you to the syllabus page. Okay. After that, you're going to click on the modules tab. The modules are where all the information is. And right now you just have access to 2 modules. The first thing you want to do with this or any class is go over the admin material. This is the boring stuff. We get this out of the way quickly, but you do need to know kind of the flow of the class, the rules and regulations, what's expected of you. I've got the course syllabus here, the lecture schedule, and then the late policy. So first thing to do, read through those 3. While you have those open, jump down to the module 1, and you have a syllabus quiz. Just click on that, open it up, answer the 10 questions, and hopefully this will be 20 easy points for you, or at least 18, I think, is the class average. But again, you can have the documents open, 10 questions, 2 points each, and they're all information from the syllabus. For instance, the first question is, what is my email address? There's no time limit or anything like that, but you can only take this quiz one time. All right. So back up at the top, I also have campus resources, a link to student support services, a link to the library, some information about Netiquette, and some information about me. Now, this is also one place where you can also find my contact information. So my email is here, my office hours. I do have office hours beginning next week on the 24th, on that Monday, from 3 to 7 p.m. And then just a link to my YouTube site, which is also right down here as well. So back to the module. So that's the admin module. And then you also need to complete module 1 this week. All the modules are set up in the exact same way. You're going to have the module video at the very top. You want to work the modules from top to bottom. We have the action plan. The action plan is set up normally with just these 4 headings. Because this is the first one, it gives you a little definition of everything. But the summary, this is what my plan is for the week. The list of lectures, we have 2 lectures and a documentary this week. The course objectives for this week, and also this is one of the places you can find things that are due. So we've got a syllabus quiz, a discussion board welcome, and 2 journals. Journals, you do 2 every week. So you will have, by the time we get to the midterm, you will have 6 to turn in. You turn those in all as a bulk upload in Module 4. So there's nothing to turn in physically this week, but you do want to complete them. After that, we have a list of lectures. So we have our 2 lectures this week. Everything is always set up in the same format. The lecture at the very top, so you can watch it from here or click on watch it on YouTube. Either way is fine. The next thing we have is a study guide. The study guide is normally vocabulary and imagery. So we'll just open up one of these here to show you. This one is a little bit different because it is topical. So we have 4 roles of the artist. Normally you would have terminology for the most part. After that, you have images, the most important images from the lecture. And so you've got, in this case, 4 images, represents the 4 roles of the artist. Some information down here about the vocabulary, images, and a disclaimer that not everything on the study guide is going to be used on the exam. You may have some things that are not on the study guide used on the exam, but for the most part, if you really use the study guides, you're going to do really well on the midterm and final exam. The last thing we have is the further exploration section. This is not an optional section. This is where you're going to find your readings. So both of these are very short, just a couple of paragraphs at most. And then this is also the place where we can find videos that I can't include in the lectures, usually because of copyright. Some of the lectures some of the videos rather, are very, very quick. Like this one here is about 8 seconds. Some of the more scholarly ones are about 10 minutes or so. So when I send out the weekly email, I'll generally give you an idea of how much time it takes to go through this material so you can plan your week accordingly. In fact, if we just jump up to the announcements, this is the one that's coming out Monday morning. I'll usually give you an idea of how long the lecture is. In this case, 40 minutes for the roles of the artist. And then the further exploration, I wrote down it's about 15 minutes. That might be a little bit low. It's probably about 20 or 25. I'm going to run back and change that actually because I did add those readings. All right. After that, we've got our first lecture in the chronology of art. So this is Italy in the 14th century. This is the time period where we are transitioning out of the Middle Ages and into the Renaissance. The lecture and study guide is here. For the further exploration section, we do have a couple of readings. And then we have videos on the Annunciation, the Rucellai Madonna, and then we have a series of 4 videos. None of these are any particularly lengthy, but there are 4 of them dealing with the Arena Chapel in Padua. So set aside time to watch those. The last thing we need to do for the week, instead of having another lecture, is a documentary to show you really what life is like in Italy during this time period. So the Medici Godfathers of the Renaissance came out probably about 25 years ago. It is a great docudrama. It's 4 parts. We are only watching part 1, which is about an hour. Click on that, watch the video, and then we also have a study guide. And the study guide, or we can call it a movie guide, will be turned in for one of the journal projects. So that's why I'm showing you this. So with this movie guide, you have the first part is going to be the major characters that you see in the film. People like Cosimo de' Medici, Giovanni de' Medici, and so on. This is a narrator-based film. You're probably not going to write down much about these individuals, maybe why they're an expert or what your feelings are about them. But what's important too is at the bottom, give examples of the importance of art in Renaissance Italy. From what you watch, provide examples of the support the Medici family provided to the artists, the importance of the role of church in daily life, and so on. So you want to read these before you start watching the documentary. These are your thoughts, your ideas. This is like scratch paper in a way. There's no correct or incorrect answers, but the only thing you can do incorrectly is look up these people and situations from outside sources. That's not what this project is about. This project is about you going through the documentary and making the connections that way. So with this, I'm going to jump down to our second journal. I'll talk about journals in just a moment, but this is our second journal entry for the week. You're going to watch the documentary. You're going to fill out the study guide. We just saw the study guide. First part, list the major characters. I went over that. Second half, asks you to engage with questions about the film. And again, please don't use outside sources. Don't use AI to complete this project. It's your voice and your opinion about these characters and figures that matter. All right, so the last thing, second to last, let's do the discussion real quick. Most of you have done a discussion board in the past. All you have to do is run down to the bottom, click the reply button, fill in the material here. You're going to be adding an image. This is the image icon here. Just click that, upload an image, drag and drop into that. Once you're done posting, you click the reply button and you're done. An image like this is about 500 pixels across, and you can, when this is in the text box here, you can click on it, grab one of the edges, and you can resize this image, okay? What I want you to do for this discussion is to introduce yourself to the rest of the class, tell them your name, what area of California you're from, your current interest in school, what stage of school are you in? Are you taking this as dual enrollment in high school? Are you done with college and taking this for fun? Anything in between is fine. And of course, what I want you to do is post an image of an artwork of your choice. This may be an artwork that you are interested in, that you really like, that you find entrancing. Or it might be an artwork that is just like, I hate this artwork. That's okay too. Anything that you really kind of want to talk about. Maybe it's your favorite artist and so on. Keep in mind that this is an art class that deals with painting and sculpture and photography. That's the type of art you should be posting. This should not be a musical artist. Lastly, you also want to reply to one other group member that has posted something. This week, the post is due. Next week, the reply is due. So give everyone in your group a moment to create a post and then go back a few days later and reply. If you are someone who has added the class, gotten permission to add the class after it has begun on March 17th, you need to send me an email. That way I can add you to one of the discussion groups. Everyone else is already pre-sorted into a group. There's nothing you need to do. You get 25 points for the post, 5 points for the reply. The due dates are here, and this is what I would have written in this posting were I a student, okay? And I was a student at one time. So this is the way I would have completed this discussion board. Lastly, we need to talk about the journals. And I apologize if this seems like a lot of stuff for the first week, And normally I'll do the videos a little bit quicker as well, but this is our first week. I just kind of want to cover everything as thoroughly as possible. If you have questions, I am always available via email, or you can stop by my office hours beginning next week on the 24th if you have more specific questions. All right. The last thing we need to do, and it's at the very bottom here. So if for some reason you run out of time, you can push the journals back a little bit because they're not due until Module 4. Module 4, all we have to do that week is take the midterm and turn in the journals. So you have some flexibility that week. So the journals are basically focused projects. They help you with the material that we've covered in lectures this week. It gives you a chance to explore other avenues, or to even, like next week, I'm going to have you do a perspective drawing. I'm going to have you turn two-dimensional shapes into three-dimensional shapes following a very simple math formula. So it's kind of, next week will be some hands-on material. But journals can be anything from a reflection from a reading, completing a worksheet, completing an art activity, focused research on a specific topic. These should take anywhere from 1 to 2 hours to complete. Each journal is worth 10 points. You do not have to do all of the journals to get points. All you have to do, if you turn in one journal, that's maximum of 10 points. You turn in 2 journals, maximum 20. By the midterm, you should have 6 journals submitted, but you just submit whatever you have completed. Once again, journals are submitted twice a semester, during the midterm and the final exam. Keep in mind that the journal should be labeled. Either if you're going to turn them in separately, label them Journal 1, Journal 2, and so on. Do not submit links. Do not embed documents. Those do not open in the Canvas gradebook. So just make sure that your journals are submitted. You can create one entire Google Doc for everything. That's fine. Just download that as a PDF right from the Google Docs site. Our first journal deals with the topic of patronage. Patronage is a really big deal in Renaissance Italy. You're going to learn that from the movie Medici Godfathers of the Renaissance. You're going to learn that in the lecture of Italy in the 14th century. You're going to learn more about that in the reading, Why Commission Artwork During the Renaissance. What I want you to do is reflect on the reading. What did you learn? What surprised you? What maybe you already knew? Things like that. And you always want to make sure to do things like citing artwork that was mentioned in the article. All your projects should be typed. That's what we do in college. It makes reading a lot easier. This semester, I have about 750 students. So you can imagine how slow it would take me and how frustrating it would be to read all of that handwriting. So I do ask that everything is typed. And in this, I'm looking for a minimum of half a page to a maximum of a full page. Do not do any more than a full page. Double space, typed, standard fonts and typefaces, okay? 12 to 23 lines of text is what I'm looking for. All right, I think that is everything in the first module. Once again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please drop me an email. And then you can always stop by my office hours beginning next Monday. All right. Good luck with everything this week. And I will see you shortly with information about Module 2.